Good morning, everyone. Still sick, so I sound stuffy. Please excuse me. I'm gonna sound weird still. I guess I just want to kind of jump into it. Today, now that we're in Colorado, there's so much that I want to encompass because this is where things really start to get fucked up, like I was saying in the last video. I want to make it clear too that his mom was coming around, and I don't remember if she was there when I went in for my C-section or if she came afterwards. But I know that after I had Carlina, before his mom and him planned to fuck off with my kids, I walked in on Nick trying to smother Carlina in her crib. The house was unusually quiet, and I was outside. I walked in, and I went and quietly looked for Alicia. I don't know, my spidey senses were tingling when I came in the door that day. And then I walked in down the hallway a little further and looked into Carlina, and there was Nick holding a pillow over her fucking face. And then she wouldn't breastfeed after that. Like, she freaked out when things were too close to her. And I didn't, like, I guess I was in shock. Did I really just see that? Surely not. You know, surely there's a different explanation for that, right? And he tried to give me one, and and I was like, all right, I need to figure out how to quietly get my shit together and get out of here. And that's what I started doing. I started noticing things. You know, this was at it. I'm having a hard time with PTSD today, so I might like get sucked in and forget to talk. It happens sometimes. It's not that I don't want to talk, it's that replaying the events takes over. And I guess the best way for me to describe it is like, it's like I have a bunch of different trains circling the drain, and each train is like a thought train, and each box car is like, this thought led to this, led to this, led to this, led to this, and it just keeps fucking going. But I have multiple fucking trains going at the same time, and it jumps from one or the other, and it all spirals because everything's connected. I don't know if you guys have seen that A Tale of Two Brains. You can look it up here on YouTube. It's actually really accurate in my opinion, and he's funny about it. I forget the gentleman's name, but he's like churchy if that helps. Funny. But I guess it's all interconnected, and it's like dominoes, and it spreads. I guess envision a tree where all the branches come out. It's like you're coming up from the ground, and then it just splits into a jillion fucking thought processes. And it's really weird to actually go through the PTSD episode, because during it, as long as you don't get lost in it, because you can get sucked into them and then you can't get out of them. But on the ones where you don't get that sucked into them, it's almost like you're splitting into different perspectives. So you're still consciously aware of this one, but this one like shuts down. And then you're like transported into the present moment of your trauma. And everything is visually replaying. You can hear it all, but it's weirder even still for me, because even that perspective splits. And I won't just be in the first person view of that. I will also be like able to switch to a third person view and like visualize the whole scenario as it plays out. And I don't understand how my mind does that. And sometimes I don't have control over like when I switch between those two. And it's not like personalities that I'm talking about. No, it's perspectives. And then it compounds. Because sometimes the third person perspective of watching it be done to yourself, the younger version of yourself, those are the reasons that you tend to hate yourself for. But maybe, I guess the way I look at it is like, maybe I forced that perspective out of needing to analyze everything, the whole situation. Needing to justify to myself their behavior, to make sense of it. And I'm one of those people that I will put myself in a third party perspective in situations to try and reach understanding. Is that not what empathy is? Where you can, pardon me, where you can remove the bias of your own personal whatevers. Do you not have to put yourself in a third party perspective to reach better clarity and understanding? Healing is very weird. Very weird. But trying to be self-aware so that I can heal properly is part of what all this is about. Because eventually, I'm going to be done telling my story. One day. Then Nick's mom took my kids. He tries to kill me. Now, the way he convinced me that I did it to myself was like when he roofied me. You have holes, and it takes time for those memories to come back. And I haven't had much luck trying to recover them, and to be honest with you, I've stopped trying because it's traumatic enough. And I could have genuinely been passed out, but I don't know. But like the way that my neck was cut and the way that I was sitting when I came to, and he had the knife like in my hands and was pulling it towards himself, trying to make it look like I was stabbing him or whatever. Like when I came to, I was on my knees, and the way that my neck was cut, it was almost like if somebody had a rope, just so he standing above me makes sense. He bends down and like really fucking gets it on, because it was deeper. I just I don't know. And I said that I would get into some of the conversations that we had. And after, and like he tried to kill me because I confronted him. I confronted him with like the looking up the roofies, the Michelle stuff, the everything. And then afterwards, we have this conversation, and he's got me in the pantry, and he tells me, I just want to watch the life leave somebody's eyes. The idea of being the last thing somebody sees makes my dick hard. To be the one that takes that away from somebody. Their last breath. The gurgles. And then to be able to do whatever I want with them. And there's nobody around to stop me. I could make you disappear. And you would be easy. You don't have family. Nobody would come looking for you. He's not wrong. He said if I really wanted to, I could make you disappear. There is a whole lot of desert around where we live. And I kind of digested that for a minute, and I did my best not to react because I very strongly got the sense that he was trying to provoke me, and he wanted me to react poorly. I felt like I was trapped in that pantry. So, while trying to seem unbothered, I asked him to move because I wanted something on the shelf behind him. And he did. And I think he was rather confused about the fact that I wasn't freaking out. But I felt like staying calm was the only option. I got what I wanted off the shelf, and we moved towards the kitchen. And this was when I started looking in the sink. And I was like, okay, there's still fucking dirty dishes there. Like, where's the knife? Where's the cup? And they were sitting on the dish towel, washed. So I walked around the kitchen and I'm looking, like, I'm trying to patch the holes in my memory. And he's watching me do this, like replaying it out as he's continuing to talk to me. And then when he realizes, like, that's what I'm doing, he got quiet. And I looked at him and I said, so the only things that are washed is the knife and the cup, huh? I didn't do it. You didn't see me do it. And you can't prove a thing. Everybody thinks you did that to yourself. That's what's on paper. What do you think I meant when I said I could make you disappear easy? I said, well, what are you going to do with the kids? What do you think I'm going to do with the kids? You can't be gone. For 15 minutes without coming home, both these kids are screaming. I was replaying the story he was referencing with that. I've already told it. It was very interesting conversation. But by the end of it, I understood exactly the situation that I was in. Because he told me, he was like, you can't leave me. If you try to leave, I will find you. And he said, I don't give a fuck about those kids. I know you do. And don't think I won't use them to get to you. Don't think I won't hurt them to make you come back. So my children are not anything to him but leverage. Something to hold over my head. And that's, I guess, kind of what I meant when I said, like, he admitted it, but never admitted it. And then he tells me that now there's no way I'm leaving. Because I'm the only one that knows who he really is now. And there's no way he can let me go knowing what I know. So the only way that I get to exist is by his gracious glory. I'm having a hard time with the disgust of that. I know I talked about before, like, it's really hard not to hate yourself. Psychological warfare is one of his favorite tactics. After telling me all of this, he then tells me that while I was in the psych ward, he fucked Angel and stayed the night at her house. Had this big Garden of the Gods date before it burned down. And he was going to go run off and get married with her. So now it was no longer about, he just tried to kill me. And he just half admitted it. And here I am in the kitchen staring at the floor, seeing the blood trails, piecing everything together that I can in my mind. And all of a sudden it switched to, you fucked another bitch behind my back? Like, we just got married. You just got home. What the fuck? Like, I don't know. Wife kicked in. And the uncertainty of, he was right. I couldn't prove it. I couldn't prove he did it. Question my own, like, am I paranoid? Am I making this up? No, bitch, you're crazy. Like, real victims really do feel like they've lost their minds. When his mother finally brought our children back, she then convinced Nick to let her move in. And I told her about what happened. And she gave me this warning. If you really feel like Nick did that to you, you need to get out or you are going to end up dead. I know he's never been right in the head. There have been things he's done. But we've always handled our problems. And it's your job as a wife to forgive him for all of those things. So you can leave if you want to. But it's just a suspicion, right? And that played on me. Because I only wanted to get fucking married once. And he had already threatened me And I was like, fuck. Considering how unstable Nick was, it was better for the children to be somewhere else. I felt like I didn't trust him not to hurt them, and they weren't old enough to be vocal to tell me. So I did one of the hardest things, and I sent my children to be somewhere where I felt like they would be safe. Nick's grandmother. I know I've mentioned her before, and it wasn't a very good light. That's how our relationship ended, because Nick filled her head with shit. Nick's grandmother loved me in the beginning of everything. I spent several months staying at her house for 3, 4, 5 days out of the week because it was closer to Traverse City so that I could go to work. I stayed at her house more often than I did with Nick. We played games, we talked about life. If she needed help with something, I'd help her. She was a busybody. That woman did not sit still. She was constantly doing something, but she ran a syrup farm. So I would help her out with that quite often. And it was enjoyable to me. I enjoy old people, certain old people. Not all of them are great, but I really enjoyed Lita. And when Nick needed money, he filled her head with shit. You know, like all of these different instances where he could make his grandmother not like me. He did, because while she was dying, Nick came out and told me that she did not want to talk to me at all when she was telling everybody her goodbyes. Said that she hated me. That's fine. I'll take it. Sucks, but people who speak truth have to learn how to be alone. They have to learn how to let insults roll off their back like beaded water on a duck. They have to expect people to be offended. Truth is difficult to accept. So my kids come up here to Michigan to stay with Lita. And there was weird shit Nick was doing too. But I don't want to... That came later. Let's see. After all of this happens, Nick decides that while the kids are gone, we're going to go to marriage counseling. We're going to address my traumas in the relationship. And this started when his mother was still there. So, like, we'd have both kids, his mom, me, Nick, and the therapist all in the fucking session. Like, it doesn't feel right to me. Like, his mom shouldn't have been a part of that. The kids shouldn't have been involved in it. I have no idea where he fucking found this therapist. or if his mom found him. I don't know. But all I know is that whatever we would discuss during therapy, and Nick would goad me into talking because after a couple of sessions, I was like, every time I fucking open my mouth, we go home and then you start an argument about everything that I fucking said. Now I feel like absolute dog shit for even fucking bringing it up. Like, shame on me for having feelings and feeling like there's some shit going on. So that just, it turned into, well, we're not doing that. Well, then we started doing marriage retreats with the military and all of that kind of shit. And I don't want to get too involved in all of that, but it's already a half hour long. Maybe I'll just do, well, how do I want to end it today? It would just turn into a cycle of bad behavior. You speak up about it because it bothers you, or you're suspicious about something, or whatever. Argument. You don't want to fucking talk about it anymore. You clam up. You don't fucking care anymore. And now, like, I'm showing you that I don't fucking care. And then as soon as you're like ready to bolt, you're ready to go. As soon as you start building up that confidence in yourself again, there'll be to start filling your head with more shit. That's what it turns into. And just when you get to that point, like, where you're like, okay, progress, because that's what would happen after those real talk conversations is progress. And then he just pulls the rug out from under your feet and leaves you flat on your ass. Things that are difficult to talk about. Stressful moments. I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. I hope that wherever you are at in your healing journeys, that you're safe. You are well. You remember you are loved. Keep trying. We will get there eventually.